So what's this? Here's another way we'll do it. Customer will. Looks like somebody's having tons of fun, huh? How funny. Okay, so cool. We'll just go ahead and say new cart right here. And basically we'll come in and say right here, let's just go get a bunch of things, see what we have to give to him. He got a little bit of cherry cola, he got some root beer, he got some pumpkin seeds. Let's give him 4 packs of pumpkin seeds. Tomato seeds, he got 5 packs of those. He went down and got some actual pepper plants. He got some squash plants. He got some tomato plants. Cherry, oh, thank you for adding those photos in there. That's great. Good on you. And he really, really, really likes potting soil. And so he's going to get 2 of those. Okay? So basically, you can see how this right here, I'm just popping through multiple different pieces. I can click any add button. What it does is it'll loop over the whole form and just add pieces that actually have a physical value. So I'm just going to click this one just for fun. It'll pop it in there. It added all this kind of stuff. Okay, he's still resale. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Resale, update the cart. That basically backs out all of my taxes. Did we want to apply a discount to this one as well? Okay, cart as a whole or an individual item, or what are we doing?
Let's do an individual item.
Okay, so which one did we want to give him a discount on? He spent the most on that the potting soil. Okay, so if you do cart as a whole, here's your discount options. This is cart as a whole. This applies to the whole thing. To do it individually, I would recommend that you just click on edit. Okay, edit. Are we doing a dollar off or a percentage?
We're going to do a percentage.
Okay, and what's the percentage?
5.
5%, no problem. 5%. And so we'll just go like this, update. So basically what it did is it knew that we were doing potting soil just because that's the one that we clicked edit by. So it automatically allowed us to add that 5% discount. Okay, this is currently set to taxable. Let's click it to resale. Update the cart. Look it over. I'm good to go. This one maybe I'll add some notes. Thanks and enjoy. Whoa. Your new seeds, whatever.
What if,
Yes, go ahead.
let's go one more step and let's say that the cherry soda is taxable. That
Okay.
one is not, he
Okay.
doesn't have, he has to have a tax on it.
Not a problem, not a problem. So basically I'll hit update cart on that. Okay. So the root beer would probably also be taxable
Yeah.
technically as well. So let's just change that one. We'll go taxable. We'll hit update cart. So everything else we're going to still keep them under as resale pieces of the puzzle, but we flip 2 of them to taxable. And then right here, it looks like a total of 8 cents. Okay, not a big deal. We'll hit checkout. We will get the error message or the warning, caution, check your tax settings. And I knew that I had 2 of them set that way, so I'm going to keep continuing.
Okay.
And
So
we'll go.
you can just go, okay, I see the warning, but I have to, so you can just bypass it.
Oh yeah. It's not going to hurt you at all. Like basically, it'll just do what you tell it to. Okay. Like,
Let's just say he's going to pay off his account.
okay, so check this out. You don't want to pay off the account right here. You're currently in a cart mode for a single thing. Okay, if he wants to give you a big old check, I would probably go like this. Okay, just a second. Like, if he had a big, hey, I want to pay off everything that I owe you. What do I owe you? I would go like this. On account, continue, create this invoice right here, just so that I had everything that's on account, on account, on account, instead of like trying to mix and blend and be like, oh crap, how am I going to reapply this type of thing? That's how I would do it. And then I would go like this. View, cool. Let me see what you owe me total. I'll go to his customer log. Looks like you owe me $329. Okay, and he's like, okay, cool. I'll write a check to that. So I would instantly go like this. Click, apply payments, and he wants to pay $329, $79, and I come down here and I say, watch this right here. This is what we call JavaScript. This is local acting stuff. So if I click this button, it'll distribute it all down here where it needs to go. Okay.
What if he wants to put $600 so that he has money on?
Okay, that's called a credit, and that actually totally deals with a balance sheet item as well, because all of a sudden you have a liability back to that person. Okay, totally possible, but you have to realize you're now asking yourself to do additional information on the accounting side. You have $300 that is not yours, that technically he could come back and ask for at any time. That's called a liability. Okay, so it's totally available and you can do it. But my personal opinion, if you could If you can avoid that, it will save you some headaches, okay? Because basically what happens, you have to count that as like, oh, Will might come back in and I have to like, it's called a liability. You all of a sudden owe somebody else. And they may never come back and do that, but guess what? You have to keep holding that forever and ever and ever and ever, basically.
That would be the same thing that happened with gift cards, gift certificates then, right?
Correct. Gift certificates are very similar to that. The good thing about gift certificates is that you get the money, and often somebody will get it, and then they kind of forget about it. But if somebody gives you real live Amigo money, like they're probably going to remember it. But either way, it's still a liability, okay? So those are kind of what
I just know, I know some customers that like.
they like to stay ahead of the game.
They put money down
Mhm.
so that they can come in and take it, and then once it hits the zero mark, you tell them, okay, you don't have any money left, and then they come back and bring you a check for that much more money. So
Correct.
so their employees don't have to continually bring in money,
Uh-huh.
and their employees can come and buy items that they need and walk out.
Sure. It's not a problem, but you do have to realize there is another piece to that puzzle, okay? And that it's pros and cons. One, you get the money, you get to put it in your bank, you can do whatever you want with it, you get to sell it, but you also have to say, okay, that $300 technically is still owed back to Will. So it kind of creates another piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
It's cause and effect relationship stuff, okay? So basically what I was going to do is I was going to pretend that he was going to pay this whole thing off, okay?
That's fine.
So I clicked this, and it actually redistributed the whole amount. If it was something different than this, and say he only wanted to put $200 on there, and I clicked like this to go 200, it basically would just pull it out to just a partial payment on the one, and still leaves the new one outstanding. Okay, so that's totally fine. We can apply partial payments anywhere we want to go with it. Just kind of depends on what you wanted to do with the piece of the puzzle. And I'll just hit check right here, and I'll just put in the check number, and I'll say apply the payments. So basically what it does behind the scenes, when I click apply payments, it's going to take this big amount, and it's going to apply it to kind of sticking in some little sub-payments to these other little invoices to satisfy them, okay? And I'll say apply payment. So it basically said, hey, cool, I applied 2 different payments, good to go. So now if I wanted to, if I go to my receivables homepage, watch this. Will Smith, this is his invoice total for the 2 that are outstanding, but he's already paid 131. He only owes me 129 left. But if I were to click on this, it will actually say, hey, just so you know, I've actually already got some money on this guy, but I don't have any money on this guy. So it's distributing those payments out where they need to go. Those are great questions. Great questions. I love it, Paul. Have you done some business before? No, those are great things. They're very common, very common. Mick, we recently just talked about credits and stuff. What could you say from an accountant type view of holding other people's money as in-store credits?
It's a rarity. It usually only happens when somebody made an error on their part, as opposed to, I mean, if you're in the business of offering credit, you're always in a situation like this is, where you have some invoices paid, but you always have additional invoices outstanding, so you can always apply it to the next invoice, but you never get in a credit standpoint. I mean, you never get overpaid.
Sure.
It's just rare. When you're in a cash business, you're obviously applying to cash. If you're offering credit, I mean, most people take advantage of the 30 days
Yep.
as opposed to
The opposite way.
that you have money on a credit balance. And, usually when I see it, I go back to the person on the internet and say, take another look because I think you may have misunderstood the payment or something. I mean, it's rare that you end up with a credit balance in customers.
Sure. Most people, unless they're using you as the bank, they want to keep their own money and then kind of do it. But just so you know, on credits, and this gets into a little bit of accounting, but there's multiple ways you can do it. One, you can pay it back, that's the easiest and fastest way, okay? Virtually like change due or a check back to the customer. So then you're not holding that liability. 2, you could create the credit but then you have to kind of virtually come back in and reapply those credits so that they can be paid off. Or 3, sometimes this is what else happens. We call it the Taco Bell account. So somebody overpaid on an invoice, and the extra $10, instead of it actually going back to the customer, goes into a special kitty called Taco Bell, and you take your employees out to lunch, and you buy them dinner with the leftover money. That's kind of like, literally there are multiple ways that you can handle a credit depending on how accessible that person is to actually get that money back. Okay, so I'm kind of being silly there, but just so you know, there are multiple ways you can play. Yes, Paul.
What if Will Smith's company defaulted and you have these open, you have that 131.96 still open, and he can't pay it, so you have to,
It's called bad debt.
yes, that, you have
Okay.
to create it, you have to write it off as a bad debt.
So watch this. I can individually go to each one and write it like specifically, or I could go back to the apply payments. Watch this. Apply payments, $129.79. That's a great question. I'm going to distribute that again. So once again, it'll populate my numbers below. Kind of does the whole piece, and I go like this. And I'm probably going to put a note right here. Will's company went into default, whatever, you know, like, I'm going to put a big old note here, kind of like, hey, this is why I'm doing it, because guess what? As soon as I hit apply payments, guess whose name's going to be on the history on these little guys? Okay, watch this. Just for fun, see invoice number 8. I'm just trying to remember one of the numbers. Apply payments. We went through the whole thing. It's like, hey, where do you want me to go? Let's go to the invoice homepage for a second. If I go to input 8 and I go to history, okay, basically watch this, okay? Brandon Moore created it at 9:46. At 9:54, he used his system to apply a payment. But if I actually went to the printable version of this, everything that's on here is now completely, it's satisfied, it's good to go, but it's kind of like, hey, that's bad debt, I had to write it off, had to go like this. Okay. So, great questions. I love it.
Where will that show up when you do your accounting?
Well, first thing that you want to do is everything shows up on the history homepage, okay?
Uh-huh.
So if I come here and I go history homepage for today, what happened?
Oh, you see the bad debt
Okay.
there.
So basically, immediately, I will instantly see all bad debt invoice payments, 2 of them for $129.
Okay.
And if I'm like, what happened there? Oh, that was Will.
Okay,
It
yeah.
starts telling the story back to you a little bit as far as what's going on.
Okay.
We specifically pull those ones out because, okay, I'm going to show bad debt payments right here as this. Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as what actually happens to the piece of the puzzle.